Welcome to this daily digital micro webinar on preparing for the IT shutdown. All IT services, including Moodle, Teams, email, OneDrive, SharePoint, the network and the Wi-Fi are shutting down between the 27th and the 29th of December, and again between the 7th and the 9th of January. Due to an essential data center moving from A block to accommodate the School of Technologies. This webinar will explore how staff can prepare for that shutdown by making resources available to students in alternative ways, and how students can prepare for the shutdown by downloading essential resources in advance of the shutdown. So this webinar should be useful for the shutdown periods, but also if you ever need to access resources whilst you're offline, it should help you with that as well. So today we're going to be covering, as I said, how staff can download recordings from Stream and make them available through SharePoint, Teams or OneDrive for students to download prior to the shutdowns. So they will be unavailable during the shutdowns. So students will have to download them in advance. Our students and staff can download content from Teams, SharePoint Online, and OneDrive prior to the shutdowns. Again, unavailable during the shutdown periods. Need to do it in advance. How you can synchronize your OneDrives to access the content as if it was stored on your computer. Again, you need to do that prior to the shutdowns. How you can download content from Moodle and Panopto prior to the shutdowns, and how you can download e-resources from the electronic library prior to the shutdowns. Okay, so how can you make recordings available to students prior to the shutdowns? So recordings of Teams meetings go to Microsoft Stream, which will be unavailable during the shutdowns. In the videos area, you will find your videos. And as owners of a team, you will be able to download these videos. But students, members of the team, cannot download the videos. So you need to download that in advance through the ellipsis there, or if you go into a video under the ellipsis there. And then you can make that video available as you see fit. So if you have a YouTube channel, you might upload it to there. But most likely you will be uploading it to a team or possibly your OneDrive. So if I go to my team, my digital skills team, I would put it in this case, the effective infographics channel under the files area. And you can upload files through the upload button and then select that file that you downloaded. Okay, it's still downloading. Just be aware that the actual upload process will take a while for large videos, particularly if you're on home broadband. So if you're able to connect to a computer on campus and download it and upload it there, it will be a bit quicker. So when we upload a file to a team, that file is shared with everyone in the team. So if you have a student-facing team, that's the best way to do it because everyone in that team, everyone in that cohort will have access to it. If you wanted to email your cohort or message them in a way, you can select the video. So let's pretend this is a video and use the copy link to give them a direct link to that video if you wanted to include that direct link in an email, as I said. Alternatively, if you don't have a student-facing team or if you prefer to use OneDrive, the process is very similar. You use the upload button, files, and then select the file. You can see I have this video already uploaded. And I could then copy the link to that video and disseminate that link as I see fit. The extra step you need for OneDrive is also to share it, because files on our OneDrive aren't shared by default. So the share button is there, and then you can choose an appropriate level of access. Okay, so for lecture recordings, it may well be that there's nothing private or sensitive in there, so anyone with the link could have it, or most likely it will be people in Cardiff Met with the link. If you need to be more specific about who has access, you can choose people with existing access. So that is how you can download content from Stream and make it available through Teams or OneDrive. How can students then download that content from Teams, SharePoint or OneDrive? Remembering that they need to do it in advance of the shutdowns, it's relatively simple to do. You select the files in the files area. Okay, so students can select the files and then use the download button on that toolbar. If you select multiple files, it will download the files as a zip file. Similarly, on OneDrive, basically the same. You have the download button available. Alternatively, you could synchronize the contents of your OneDrive, or students can synchronize the contents of their OneDrive. So if they navigate to their OneDrive, portal.office.com, use the OneDrive icon in the app launcher. The sync button allows you to synchronize the contents of your OneDrive and have it appear as if it were on your computer. By way of example, on my Windows computer, when I press the sync button, I now have my OneDrive contents available in File Explorer. If you're on a Mac, it would be available in a similar place in Finder. But the files aren't actually stored on your computer until you tell OneDrive to do so. So they're actually still stored on that cloud and are made available on demand as you open them. So in advance of the shutdown, to have these files accessible, you should right-click on a file or an entire folder of files and choose Always Keep on this device, and it will download those files to your hard drive and make them available offline. There are some caveats to using the OneDrive sync client. Essentially, you should have your computer up to date in terms of antivirus software, which should be enabled, and operating system updates. Encryption should be enabled on your device, and you should have a dedicated account for your Cardiff Met work. There'll be more details in the guidance that I will provide shortly. Okay. So that was how to synchronize your OneDrive content. How can you download Moodle and Panopto content? For Moodle, for things like PDF and Word documents, that is fairly straightforward. Okay, so if I have this PDF here, you right-click on it and choose Save Link As, and then that will save it to your computer. So that's for Word documents, PowerPoint files, PDFs, and so on. There's no easy way of downloading things like e-lessons built using the book activity or built using Adapt Builder. It would be a case of opening them up and copying and pasting them into Word documents. For Panopto videos, it is possible to enable download of those. Aid Clark in QED advises if you want that enabled for your module, then to contact them through review@cardiffmet.ac.uk, and he'll take that from there. Finally, then, how can you download library resources from the electronic library? So let's say I was searching for infographics and I wanted to download an article. You can use the download article link to open the PDF, having authenticated. Again, this has to be done prior to the shutdown. And then you can use the download button to download that PDF. Books, electronic books, ebooks, slightly more complicated. The library have provided full guidance around how to do that. And again, I'll link to that shortly. It does vary by publisher, but just by way of example, I can access this ebook by following that link. And then I can either download a chapter or I can download the entire book. You do need a piece of software called Adobe Digital Editions, which is installed on Cardiff Met computers, including our loan laptops. If you're on your own computer, you just need to download that software there. And then you click on download, open the file, and it will open in Adobe Digital Editions, and you will be able to access it for a certain period of time. This one is available for 7 days. Okay, so I'll stop the recording now, and then we can take any questions when I open the mics.